Hey everybody, Andy here, Sports and Songs, special songs edition tonight. Dan is on assignment, and like I said yesterday on the Facebook post, we're a day late on this. I had kind of double booked some stuff yesterday, so I apologize. This is coming on Friday, October 6th, the songs edition of the Sports and Songs podcast. Sorry, I do not have the episode number with me. I do not count very well. That's Dan's job, so I will have that in the description, as you saw when you started. But if you're just listening here, you're not going to catch that. Today, doing the album review. I am doing an album review today. Unlike a lot of times I do this solo songs when I kind of pick an artist or do something different, but I am going to do an album review today. Something a little outside of the show's wheelhouse, but artist I'm very fond of. One we've mentioned on the show a few times. The guy on this album went by Mr. John Cougar Mellencamp. Johnny Cougar, John Mellencamp, John Cougar Mellencamp. All different names depending on the record label at the time and how he was feeling at that period. His music, first of all, the album was The Lonesome Jubilee, 1987. The album was considered rock or heartland rock. Kind of a northern version of southern rock, I don't know. Heartland rock, not really a country rock, not really a southern rock, kind of something in the middle. Just what it was, heartland rock. And I think that's what I liked about John Cougar was the sound. It was different. It was rock and roll. Some of the songs were pretty rock and roll, but they weren't, hard rock and roll like the Kinks or something like that. But they weren't boring, mellow, country kind of rock songs, rock kind of country songs either. There was good acoustic rock and roll. Let's get into the album, The Lonesome Jubilee, 1987. Oh, sorry about that. It's the 9th studio album by John Mellencamp, credited as John Cougar Mellencamp on this album. Released on Mercury Records August 24th, 1987. There was 4 singles released from the album. The first 2 in 87 and the last 2 in 88. The album is one of Mellencamp's most successful worldwide, charting in 10 countries. The album was most successful in Canada, where it topped the RPM magazine's top album chart and became the artist's highest certified album by Music Canada, formerly the Canadian Recording Industry Association, becoming 6 times platinum, which is 600,000 in Canada. We were on the road for a long time after Scarecrow. So we were together a lot on the band, Mellencamp said in a 1987 interview he did with Cream magazine. For the first time ever, we talked about recording an album before it started. So obviously that's how these bands, they get on tour for a while, and they take a little longer tour because the album was good. Now that next one, that follow-up album, hey, you toured for 9 months. Usually this time you toured for 12 or 16. You get a little more time together. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. And that's what kind of happened here. So they had all this time together. On October 30th, 1986, during the period of which they were recording the album, John Mellencamp's Uncle Joe had passed of cancer at the age of 57, which greatly influenced the album. While the album was being recorded, Riva Records, which ceased to function, so Mellencamp moved to Mercury Records, which, like Riva, was distributed by Polygram, which would continue to release material by Mellencamp until 98. So Mellencamp had Riva Records. He was their baby for a while. He did a lot of stuff. Like I said, John Cougar was considered heartland rock, which I thought was kind of cool. I like that one. I like that title. The sessions for the Lonesome Jubilee took place in Mellencamp's excuse me. Apologize. The sessions for the Lonesome Jubilee took place in Mellencamp's Belmont Mall Studios in Belmont, Indiana. From September of 86 to June of 87, a period of 9 months. The sessions were produced by Mellencamp and Don Graham and were engineered by Graham and David Leonard. The sound from the album was a departure of Mellencamp's previous albums, which included many traditional folk and country instruments, in order to make his audience aware of his once familiar social landscape of folk music. The risk of making music counter to the mainstream of rock music paid off with the album's success. Uh, it was a very good album. He released the four singles he released were "Paper and Fire," "Cherry Bomb," and then January of '88 came "Check It Out," and then "Rudy Toot Toot." Mellencamp said he was inspired by his daughter Teddy Jo to write "Rudy Toot Toot." That song was a nursery rhyme that I wrote for her. Teddy Jo said, "Dad, how come you never used my name in one of your songs?" My youngest daughter's name was Justice, so she had said, "You used Justice and you used Michelle because Michelle's middle name is Suzanne." So I went on to write a special song. So I wrote "Rudy Toot Toot" as a nursery rhyme, and it didn't even have music. So I showed it to Larry Kane, and he said, "That's a good little uplifting story." So we arranged it into a song and put it on the record. So there you go. Having little funs and going away with it. Anyway, here is the track listings from the album. Like I said, we'll mention the songs in order, including the four released. "Paper and Fire," "Down and Out in Paradise," "Check It Out." "The Real Life" is the fourth song. "The Real Life." "Cherry Bomb," "We Are the People," "Empty Hands." Song 8, "Hard Times for an Honest Man." Song 10, "Hot Dogs and Hamburgers." And they list hot dogs as one word here, not two. Number 10, "Rudy Toot Toot." And number 11, "Blues from the Front Porch" on the 2005 reissue bonus track. We get those quite a bit here, the reissue bonus tracks. Some of the things mentioned, like I said, was reached number 6 in the US, number 1 in Canada, 2 in Australia, also number 6 in Australia, and number 63 on the US country albums. John Cougar had a lot of crossover success because of the sound, obviously, but also a lot of the Farm Aid work he did, right, for the Scarecrow album and stuff like that. He did a lot of work with Farm Aid, which is associated with country music artists. There was some rock artists that worked Farm Aid. But Farm Aid was the brainchild of John Cougar and Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson I think they're still doing Farm Aids now. Every now and then you'll still see them out there. So not as big as it was, the Aid concerts, Farm Aid, Live Aid, Band Aid, Hearing Aid, all the concerts and bands were going out then. Farm Aid still goes about once a year. Not positive the history of it. I apologize, but it's still out there. That's still an issue. I get the number off the top of my head still. 1-800 Farm Aid. One of the few things that probably still have an 800 number. Always looking for donations there. Check it out. Also, as we go along here with this stuff, talking about John Cougar, he's had numerous albums. He's still releasing 2-3 albums a year, or a decade now as is. So, congrats to him on that. And also, like I said, this is a day late. This is on October 6th. We're passing this out. Tomorrow, October 7th, is his birthday. He will be 72 years old tomorrow. He was born 51. Yeah, he'll be 72 tomorrow. So, happy early birthday to John Mellencamp. Or late if he's listening to this after Saturday. Like I said, born in Seymour, Indiana. Midwest boy. Like I said, all his albums are listed as Heartland Rock. Some are roots rock or folk rock, but I think Cougar's got a very good sound. I enjoy his sound. This album, "A Lonesome Jubilee," is a good album. "Paper and Fire" is one of my favorite songs on there. And some of the other songs like "Paper and Fire," "Cherry Bomb," you'll all remember when you hear it again. Hear them again for the first time. Listen to them again for the first time. Go back, listen to the older stuff too. He's just really a great artist. Very nice, easy listening to song. Very easy to sing along to. A lot of John Cougar songs are really good sing-along ones. But you don't hear a lot of people covering John Cougar Mellencamp. You don't hear a lot of his songs being re-released for other things lately. But like I said, he had that crossover sound, but you never hear him on country radio. You don't really hear him on the soft rock radio. He's that in between, so it's kind of hard to hear him on mainstream radio. Have to use your Spotify there. Check him out. I appreciate it. John Cougar Mellencamp, like I said, this is Andy for Sports and Songs. No concerts, no new albums. You guys know how to do that, though. Follow us on the social media, and you'll see all that fun, happy stuff. Until Monday, when we have our sports episode, we'll be back. Dan should be back in studio, so you'll be stuck with both of us. The next Thursday, again, we're back to our regular songs formats again. If you are in a local tribute band, a cover band, something here in the Minnesota area, even if it's national, but we're Minnesota where we can see it, but national would be fine too. You want to be on the show, please reach out to us on the social media. Just send us a message on our Facebook page there, and we will get back to you. I'd love to have you on the show. Again, this is Andy for Sports and Songs. Everybody have a good night. Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe.